In this class, we are going to discuss on the developments took place in coal and iron mining areas during the 18th century. Let us go into the portion. So during 18th century, England was very lucky to have a lot of coal and iron ore deposits. And these two materials were the important materials for industrialization, as you people know. It was a staple. These were the staple or the important materials for mechanization, both the coal and iron ore. And iron industry is known as the basic and key industry because it is needed for the working of other industries as machines are required in other industries. But however, in the 18th century, there was scarcity of usable iron. They had iron, but they had to remove pure iron from the impurities. So how they took out the pure iron from impurities? So they took iron from iron ore through a process called smelting. That means the iron will be melted at high temperature, then they will remove all the impurities and finally they will get iron. Now apart from iron, England had deposits of other minerals like lead, copper, tin, etc. So they had these minerals too, which were necessary for the metal industry. Now for smelting, that is for burning or melting iron into high temperatures, they were depending upon charcoal. That's burned charcoal which got from burned timber. Now that's charcoal, using charcoal for smelting was not a very good thing or was not very perfect. They were not getting iron in a perfect way. Why? Because charcoal was not very strong, it was fragile, easily broken. It was too weak. You cannot transport charcoal into long distances because it breaks very easily. And also it created poor quality iron because impurities were there. As impurities were there, it created poor quality iron. So in the beginning, they used timber. So later on, they understood that it was not giving the fine quality of iron. Another problem was that there was shortage of supply. It was not easy to get charcoal in sufficient amount because forests were cleared at a rapid rate and afterwards they were not getting charcoal in sufficient amount. So people were thinking what can be done to solve this problem, and finally that moment came when Darby family, Darby's of Shropshire, they discovered a new material for smelting. And the three generations of Darby family, grandfather, father and son. So we can name them Abraham Darby 1, Abraham Darby 2, Abraham Darby 3. So this family was very much interested in iron industry, or they were doing the business of manufacturing iron in large amount. Okay, they were experts in iron metallurgical industry. They brought about a revolution in iron metallurgical industry. So what did these people do? In the year 1709, the first Abraham Darby, that is Abraham Darby 1, they started using coke, C-O-K, coke. Now what do you mean by coke? It is a form of coal only. After removing sulfur and other impurities, you will get a form of coal. That is what we call coke. So they started using coke for the process of smelting. That is, they were using coke in a blast furnace. Blast furnace means it is a tower-like furnace where you can put iron, you can smelt iron and you will get the pure iron. You can smelt iron ore and you will get pure iron. So that is what we call a blast furnace. So they invented a blast furnace and they started using coke. And coke was generating high temperature. Timber was not generating high temperature. That was the problem of timber. But coke was generating high temperature and it was not brittle. It can be carried to long distances. So it revolutionized the metallurgical industry. So it became easy for them to produce iron in larger amount. So now the blast furnaces were not depending upon the timber. Then second Darby, Abraham Darby II, he developed wrought iron. That means a strong quality of iron, and which can be used in metallurgical industry, which can be used in iron and steel industry. Because that was his contribution. Less brittle. That means it was not broken very easily. Now another person called Henry Court, he founded puddling furnace. Puddling is a stage in the manufacturing of iron. It is a stage. It is a stage of manufacturing iron in a furnace. Furnace means like a tower-like structure, a cylinder-like structure in which you can do the smelting. And what did he do? So he designed another form of furnace. So Abraham Darby first designed blast furnace, and this person do the second furnace, that is puddling furnace, and in which the molten iron could be rid of. There is more impurities can be removed using this furnace. And he also introduced the rolling mill. That is, a lot of machines was invented which was of rolling structure, where you can take out good quality iron and you can convert them into big bar in huge size. You can convert the big bar of huge size. Okay. So with the help of huge iron bar, you can again melt the iron and you can produce a variety of iron products. So it became possible for the people to produce more and more iron products, and everybody started using iron because iron was not very expensive and it was a better metal than wood, because it is very, very strong. Iron is very, very strong. Pure iron is very strong, and it was used in various experiments, and they used iron, or people started using iron for making a variety of things, a lot of things, especially people like John Wilkinson. He made the first iron chair, then vats for breweries. Vats also a cylindrical device for fermentation, for making the liquids like alcohol or wine. So those things were also produced. And the third Darby, that is Abraham Darby, third one, produced the first, first iron bridge in the world in Coalbrookdale. It's the name of a place across River Severn. So he used cast iron. Cast iron means you can put molten iron into a vessel or into a mold, and you can make iron in various shapes. You can mold iron into various shapes. So such an iron is known as cast iron. You can use a cast, you can use a vessel like this. Okay. Now the advantage Britain had in iron industry was that they integrated coal mining area and iron smelting area. Okay, that is, these two areas were connected so that they can collect coal or coke, which can be used for iron smelting. And they had excellent coking coal and high grade iron ore, which they were used in metallurgical industry. And all these areas were near to port, so they can take coal, they can make coke. Afterwards, they used to produce iron in huge bar, and they exported all these bars into other parts of the world. So Britain got a lot of profit in iron industry. So iron industry, the British iron industry quadrupled. That means fourfold it increased its output between 1800 and 1830. And the iron which Britain produced was the cheapest one, less expensive in Europe. Okay. And for making a ton of pig iron, you need 8 tons of coal. But after so many inventions, so many discoveries, so many modifications, it required only 2 tons to produce 1 ton of pig iron. Okay. That is the iron with all the impurities. Okay, so it was like Britain's smelting industry was developing very much during that point of time.